And happy Wednesday, everyone. My name is meteorologist Heather Kane. It's time for our daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by See-Through Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor Show, as well as Atlas. Thank you guys, as always, for sponsoring our videos. So yesterday evening, as expected, it was quite busy here at the Hail Palace. We had some activity across parts of Illinois, including some in the Chicago metro area, as well as into Michigan and some other areas as well. So we'll recap what happened. And then into it today, we do have a marginal risk for wind across parts of the East Coast. We'll talk about where exactly that's anticipated to occur. And then is there anything over the next few days to take a look at? Well, we'll look at all of that as well. Here are, I was going to get into the reports first, but of course we had a few three-star maps that occurred yesterday. The first one was in parts of the Chicago area, as well as other areas in the northern part of Illinois. So we have a 1 3-star map covering Naperville, Bolingbrook, Oak Lawn, and Kelowna. The largest hail was up to 2 inches in diameter, and a little over 342,000 houses were impacted by quarter-size hail or larger. So you can see just north of Thornton, near Worth, Bolingbrook got some of the largest hail, again up to 2 inches in diameter there. And then we had some other swaths across the northern parts of Illinois. So again, we had that 3-star map available now. If you're a subscriber, you already have that available to you. If you are not a subscriber, you can call us and we can get you set up with that map. And then another 3-star map occurred in my home state of Michigan. This one is called Battle Creek in Pontiac, Michigan. The largest hail was up to 2 2/4 inches in diameter. That was isolated in nature. And then in terms of quarter-size hail or larger, it impacted a little over 26,000 homes. So again, Battle Creek, you guys saw the largest hail with this, and then we had some other isolated swaths across southwestern Michigan as well. So here are yesterday's storm reports again. I mean, it was a pretty busy day. You can see all of the hail reports that happened across northern Illinois into Michigan. We had a few tornadoes as well that unfortunately caused some damage. And then some more swaths of hail and wind across Indiana, Ohio, southward into Kentucky, and even 1 or 2 here in West Virginia. So just zooming on in here, again, those 2 3-star maps that we made. The first one here in Michigan, and then you can see just a ton of hail reports here in the Chicago metro area. So again, if you're a subscriber to these areas, you have access to these. If you need access, just give us a call or email us and we can get you all set up. So again, more activity here in the Ohio Valley as well. So here are current conditions across the lower 48. The system that caused that severe weather in the Great Lakes region yesterday has now moved off to the east. The low pressure is situated up in Canada, but there's a cold front that is stretching down from the eastern parts of Canada down into the Ohio Valley, getting into parts of central Pennsylvania now, all the way down into northwestern Georgia. And then you can see another system up into the northwest that is bringing some pretty heavy rain across parts of Oregon and Washington. But we're going to zoom on in here now to the system that will continue to bring some spotty, marginally severe winds across the area as we get into this afternoon and evening. Again, you can see that cold front and some stronger storms developing along and ahead of that cold front in Tennessee. We're going to zoom on in here because there are a few severe thunderstorm warnings out for the next 15 minutes or so for these particular storms. Anywhere from 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts are possible with these as they continue to move off to the east. So they're about to cross into North Carolina within the next 15 minutes or so. Zooming back on out to take a look at our temperatures, you can see where that cold front is. Ahead of it, we have temperatures in the 70s, 73 in Atlanta, 79 in Miami, still in the 50s in New York City, but starting to cool down a bit though as you get into Portland where it's only 47. Behind this system, it's only 15 degrees in Minneapolis, 28 in Fort Wayne, and here in Oklahoma City, we're sitting at 36. So quite a temperature difference here across that cold front. Speaking of those temperatures, within the last 24 hours, temperatures are within 20, 30 plus degrees cooler right now compared to this time yesterday. So quite a difference in temperatures. A bit warmer though along the East Coast. That's going to be changing though as that cold front pushes on through. So here is our future jet stream. The trough is sitting here in the Great Lakes region. That cold air is moving on in. And then as we get into the next few hours, this is at 6 p.m. Central, so 7 p.m. Eastern, you can see that trough is going to continue to push off the coast. Those cooler temperatures will move on through as that cold front at the surface moves on through. So if you're a bit warmer right now, it's not going to last throughout the rest of the day as that cold front pushes through your area. Those temperatures are going to fall. Then as we get from today into tomorrow, cold air will just sit on in, and a few little disturbances in the jet stream can be seen here as we get into tomorrow, and then getting into Friday as well. However, this shouldn't produce anything in terms of severe weather. We will just see some rain, and if it's cold enough, some mixes and snow and all that wonderful winter stuff. It is still technically winter for a few more weeks, you guys. So as we get into Friday, that little disturbance will move off to the northeast, and you can see that trough that's been bringing that heavier rain in the northwest. We'll be watching that as we get into the beginning of next week, but still a little far out. So stay tuned over the next few days to see if anything happens with that system. So here are our dew points. We do have some moisture available for those storms to fire on up along and ahead of that cold front. But as we get into this evening, this is at 7 p.m. Eastern time, you can see where that difference is between the dew points. So right along the coast, New York City all the way down to Raleigh, those dew points are a bit higher. Behind that cold front though, much drier air is going to be setting on in. As we get into this evening, into the overnight hours, that cold front will push off the coast and that severe risk will be ending. I think around 11 p.m. Eastern time, you guys along that eastern coast where that risk is will be in the clear. So here is our future radar for this is going to be two of them. So this is the first one for the southern part of the risk. That line that is moving on through Tennessee into starting to cross into North Carolina northward will continue to push off to the east here, and then we're going to stop it at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be right along the coast, so Raleigh, Norfolk, northward to New York City. You guys have a chance to see some marginally severe wind. Again, it should be pretty spotty. We're not expecting anything widespread, but that chance is there to see up to 60 mile per hour wind gusts as this line continues to push off to the east. And then as we get into later on this evening, so this is at midnight, you guys should start to clear out with just a few lingering showers here. And then as we get into tomorrow morning, things should be relatively dry across the region. Now moving on up into the northern part of the risk, again, spotty, marginally severe winds are possible with any storms that do develop along and ahead of that cold front. So this is at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We are expecting some more storms to develop along and ahead of that cold front here in central Pennsylvania, northward into New York. And then as we get into this evening, that line will be pushing off to the east. And then, same deal as the southern part of the risk. As we get into the overnight hours, we should dry out. And then behind that cold front, this will be in the form of some snow showers. Nothing too crazy though, unless you're right along the lakes where we can get some lake effect snow. So for today's wind forecast, pretty big area, but again, it should be pretty spotty, up to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, maybe some higher because we have seen some higher reports here in eastern Tennessee, but again, pretty spotty. Atlanta, Charlotte, up to Richmond, Virginia, and into Beckley, West Virginia, all the way up to Albany. You guys can see those 60 to maybe spotty 70 mile per hour wind gusts. So again, Atlanta all the way up into parts of North Carolina, northward into Philadelphia, and then Albany. You guys will be in that risk for today. And then as we get into the next few days, so this is tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern, that system will be off the coast. And besides that, it should be relatively quiet across the country. Tomorrow, the exceptions are going to be an area of precipitation here in parts of New Mexico and to western Texas. We need any kind of moisture right now because if you haven't heard, we are experiencing some wildfires in parts of the Texas Panhandle and even into western Oklahoma. So any moisture is deeply needed to relieve those areas. And then, of course, that system up in the northwest dumping rain and snow where it's cold enough. And then as we get into tomorrow and into tomorrow evening, that moisture will move across those very dry areas where we need that moisture. Still not a whole lot of movement with that system in the northwest. Then as we get into Friday, we'll see some more rain develop here in the southeast. No severe weather is anticipated with that. The middle of the country will be staying dry. And then as we get into Saturday, that system in the southeast will start to move off the coast. And then we'll continue to watch that big system in the northwest as we get into the end of the weekend and into the beginning of next week to see if anything will happen with that as it moves on inland. In terms of our temperatures, we're a little bit cool right now, but it's not going to last that long. We're going to quickly start to rebound as we get into our weekend. So tomorrow, temperatures will start to increase, get back into the 50s. So if you're not a fan of that cold weather here, just stick around for another day or so. Things will start to warm up a bit. So then as we get into Friday, here we go. Temperatures starting to get right back up into the 60s, even some 70s down in Texas. And then getting into our Saturday even warmer as that warm air starts to come on back up from the south. So Oklahoma City, Dallas, all the way to San Antonio, upper 70s are expected for our highs on Saturday. And then, of course, we'll cool back down as we get into Saturday evening. So that's all I have for you right now. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, or X as what it's called now, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well as our TikTok page. Make sure you press see first on Facebook especially, so you don't miss any of our live videos. And if you have any questions or concerns or anything like that, you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hailtrace.com and check out our website at www.hailtrace.com. Oh yes, and if you want to do a demo, you can scan the QR code above and you can get set up with that. But for now, I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday.